All right, well, I'm going to switch on over and give you the measurements for tonight's project. All right, ladies, here we are. Now tonight, hi Dawn, welcome. I'm glad you like the bag. And by the way, ladies, we had our Christmas ornament workshop yesterday and our Christmas hot cocoa packet workshop. And we had a blast. I had 12 ladies in attendance and we had a lovely time together. And today I've been shipping kits. And so some of you, I see your names. I've already shipped your kit today. Okay. Hi, Joanne. Welcome. So we're actually going to make this gift bag in 2 different sizes. And after you see how they're both made, you're going to be able to make them in any size that you want. So the first one that we're going to create tonight is going to be the smaller gift bag. And it's the measurements right here. So this is a great time to take a screenshot or take a picture with your camera. And so you'll have the measurements. And by the way, this Wednesday on my blog, you'll be able to watch the Facebook replay and you'll be able to download the supply list with measurements, okay? You can click download and print it and then you'll have it, all right? So this is the smaller tote and we're gonna start with this one tonight. Now you'll notice that Chris's little gift bag that she made me, it's actually a bit of a different size, and you'll notice that her sides are probably about 1 inch and the sides on this gift bag are 1.5 inches. But after you see that, after we create both of them, you're going to see that you can create them in several sizes. So anyway, so that's the first bag. Now let me show you the second bag. I couldn't show you that when I was on camera because the bag's too big. So here's the second bag. And we're going to create this bag with 12 by 12 designer series paper, okay? And so this takes, it actually takes 2 sheets of 12 by 12 or 2 sheets of 6 by 6. Now, ladies, if you want, go and grab your designer paper and your Stampin' Trimmer and scoring tool. And what else would you need? And some Tombow glue. And you can make one right along with me. Hello, Carol. Welcome. All right, so we will get started with this first little bag. And just remember, the designer paper is from Christmastime is Here Sweet. And this is available only in November through Stampin' Up. So it will retire on November 30th, or if supplies run out sooner than November 30th, you know, it's available while supplies last. And of course, we've got the huge suite that we've talked about earlier in the month. Then we've got the Christmas Rose bundle with the stamp set and dies. And then, of course, this is what the stamps look like. Then, of course, you can purchase items separately, like the bracelet and the designer paper, the dies, the enamel dots, and the gold shimmer ribbon. So they can be purchased separately, or you can purchase them in a bundle. And I'm actually wearing my little bracelet tonight, okay? So I have it on. I'm going to take a sip of water. And if you want, you can create right along with me. I'm going to move this out of the way. And by the way, tonight, I'm not going to glue the sides because I want to mail it to you. So someone's going to win this tonight. Hi, Mary Kay, welcome. So be sure to comment and be sure to share so that your name is in the drawing for this bag. I'll mail it flat, okay? And you'll just glue the sides together. All right, so now these are measurements and I'm going to move them out of the way, Again, they'll be on my blog this Wednesday. And now I'm going to bring in the designer paper that we're going to use. And I decided to use the 6x6, okay? And this is another sheet of paper that is in this paper pack. So when you do purchase the designer paper, you get 3 sheets of this piece, and this is the opposite side of it. You get 3 sheets of this paper, and this is the opposite side. And you get 3 sheets of this paper. Actually 4, excuse me. Thank you, Lisa. You'll get 4 sheets, 4 12x12 sheets of this paper, and this is what the opposite looks like. So I need to correct myself. There are 12 sheets of designer paper in the package. So you get 4 of this sheet, 4 of this sheet, and 4 of this one. So I'm sorry about that. I had said 3. All right. I'm going to move my Simply Scored tool in here so you can see what I'm doing. Now, if you're making a bunch of bags, this would be the best thing to use because it would be super quick, okay? You can mark off your little places and make it super quick. Yeah, Carol, the paper's beautiful. It's available until November 30th. And like one of my other customers who's on tonight, Gail, she recommended using it for Valentine's Day. And I think it would be absolutely gorgeous for that. And I had never thought of that. So that's another option for you. All right, so here we are. You need 2 6x6 pieces, okay? And what we're going to do is, I have already marked this at the 1.5 inch mark, okay? And I will actually, I can go ahead and zoom in a little bit. There we go. I'm going to use the scoring tool that comes with the Simply Scored. And by the way, we still sell the Simply Scored. It's in the annual book. There are 2 tips on this stylus. There is a small one, and then there's a larger one. Now, when you're scoring cardstock, use the bigger one, okay? Because it's thicker paper. But when you're scoring with designer paper, go ahead and use the smaller point and don't press as hard. I know, Carol, doesn't Gail have great ideas? Isn't that awesome? All right, here we go. And what you need to remember is we're scoring at 1.5 inches on 3 sides, okay? Only 3 sides, and I'll show you why in a minute, okay? So here we go. I'm going to score there, and I'm going to rotate my paper and score again. And then I am going to score one more time at 1.5 inches. And then this edge right here has not been scored. And so we're going to score this side because this is going to be the top of the bag. We're going to score it at 1 inch. So I'm going over to the 1 inch mark and I'm going, whoops, and I'm going to score, okay? And so that 1 inch piece is going to fold over. Let's make sure I fold on the score line. Whoops, I am crooked. There we go. And that's going to be the very top of the bag, okay? I want to make sure that I did get right on that score line. Okay. Okay. And now down here at the bottom, because what will happen is this is going to form one of the sides. This is going to form the other side. Okay. And then this will form the bottom. All right. So is everybody following me? Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the paper snips and I'm going to cut up to that score line, and I'm going to cut over, and I am taking out that square. All right. And then I'm going to cut along this score line all the way up to that score line. And then I'm going to cut straight across, and I am also cutting out that square. And now this is one side of the bag. So I bet you can guess what we're going to do with the other side. We're going to do the very same thing. So let's go ahead and take this 6-inch piece and let's score at 1.5. And then we rotate our paper and score at 1.5. So see how easy this is? And I know we all have beautiful designer paper laying around, and maybe last year's Christmas paper. So you can make several gift bags and use up some of that gorgeous paper. All right, I've scored along 3 sides, and so this is going to be the side that I haven't scored yet, and it's going to be the top of the bag, and we're going to score at 1 inch. All right, and at this point, I'm just going to move the Simply Scored tool out of the way. I am going to fold this over. This is the top, and I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit, ladies. All right. And then here, we're going to cut it a little differently. We're going to cut on this score line all the way up to the very top, okay? And then we're going to cut to the very top of that, and now we've created some flaps, okay? All right, and then I'm folding on those score lines. Oh, and I also need to fold the sides. And just be really careful when you're scoring your paper so that you don't score right through it, because that can easily happen. I'm like all crooked tonight, trying to be straight for you all. Okay. All right, so there we go. And actually, I think I'll put this bag together, and then I will mail you one. And when I mail it to you, it's going to look like this one, okay? Because I am out of this paper. I do want to show you how to glue it, all right? And then I'll mail you 2 flat pieces, and you can put it together, all right? So here, we're actually going to use some Tombow glue. And now these pieces here are the bottom of the bag, okay? So I'm trying to decide which way I want to glue it. All right, I don't know that it matters. And let's see here. I want to try one thing just to be sure. Okay, so that's going to go up like that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this flap right here. And as you can see, I've got a glob of glue right there on that tip. And if I use my fingers to move it off, they're going to get super sticky. So I'm trying not to touch that. All right, so this flap here, I am now going to put on top of that flap, okay? And now I have connected the bottoms. Now you could definitely use tear and tape, okay? So feel free, if you would rather use the tear and tape. I did find using the Tombow glue was very quick. All right. I'm taking a little sip of water there. Okay, so now that's the first part done. And then this is going to come up. Okay, these flaps are going to come up and go inside. And so to do that, I am going to put some glue on these flaps. Okay. So, and I'm kind of using a lot of glue. You don't have to use this much. It's just the way it's pouring out of the bottle there. So now this part is coming up. And I'm trying to do this so that you can see. And now this part is coming up, okay? And I'll just hold it there just for a few minutes until it dries. So as you can tell, the Tombow's a little quicker than tear and tape, and it dries fairly fast. All right. Now that that's done, we'll go ahead and we're going to do these sides and we're going to bring it up and it makes a box. Now, I would love to know, have you all ever made any of these? This is actually my first time. I've never made any of these little gift bags. So, and it's really fun and really easy. And if you've got Christmas paper from last year, even this year, use your designer paper. It's time to get that paper out and use it and enjoy it and give it as a gift. I'm now pulling the sides together and you can see how quick this was. I mean, this might have taken 10 minutes, 12 minutes. I'm not really sure. All right, and then that little flap there likes to stick up a bit, so you could tuck a glue dot in there, or you could use Tombow glue. And I'm gonna use a glue dot real quick. So I'm just gonna tuck that under there, and that'll close up that little flap. And then over here is another little flap we're gonna close up. Again, Tombow would be just fine. I know, Chris, these are so fun. I am so glad that you gave me one of these cute little bags because I've never tried it before and it's a lot of fun. Now, at this point, you could leave it just like this or you can add handles. And, oh good, I was so afraid I didn't bring my hole puncher over here. Whew, I did, thank goodness. So I am gonna use the hole punch and show you how to put in how to insert the ribbon. So this punch here is probably about 1/8 of an inch. And it's a handheld circle punch, that's what they call it. And I'm just gonna kinda eye it, okay? And just kinda put a hole there in the middle. Now, if you have a larger hole punch, which most of us do have the standard punch, you can certainly use that, okay? And I'm gonna go over here and do the same thing. Now, we're gonna also make the bigger bag, so I hope you'll stick around for that. And I'm gonna show you now, let's get our ribbon out. This is the gold shimmer ribbon. And so that's what we're going to use. This is part of the same suite. And I'm just going to try and, pull that ribbon right through that hole. Now, all I'll need to do is just tie a knot and it will stay inside the bag. But be aware, if you use a standard hole punch, you're going to have to make several knots in your ribbon so that your ribbon doesn't slide through the hole. See here, the hole's small enough that my ribbon's not going to come through. Let me go ahead and trim this because this is going inside the bag. Okay, we'll move that out of the way. And then as far as your ribbon handle, I mean, that's honestly up to you how long you want to make it. So I'm just going to slide this through. This was a piece of ribbon that I had on a note card box. And I decided to go on and reuse the ribbon. And now I'm going to sharpen it a bit. All right. Yeah, I'm just shortening that just a little bit. And I'll put the knot in here and then I'll have some extra ribbon left over. So let me put the knot here. And then this is what's left over. All right. And now we have our little gift bag. So when I send your gift bag in the mail, if you win the drawing tonight, I'll make sure to include some ribbon, okay? And that's even a little long, so I could definitely shorten that up, okay? But there's the lovely little box. Wouldn't that be pretty to put some jewelry inside for Christmas? Or maybe you could give it to your hubby and he could put some jewelry inside for you for Christmas, okay? So that's the small bag, and here are the measurements. You need 2 pieces of 6x6 paper, score on 3 sides at 1.5 inches, and then at the very top of the bag, you want to score at 1 inch. Well, now we're going to make the big bag, okay? And so the large bag, you need 2 sheets, 2 12 by 12 sheets of designer paper. So that's what we're going to use. Hi, Brenda, welcome. So that's what we're going to be using tonight, and we don't have to do any cutting. We just need to do the scoring. So let's try and remember that we're going to be scoring on 3 sides at 3 inches. So let's bring in our Simply Scored, and I'm going to move my tab over to 3 inches so that I don't forget that I'm scoring on 3 sides at 3.5 inches. Okay, and then at the very top, when we do the top of the bag, it's 2 inches. All right. So with this bag, yeah, this really was, oh, you know, I forgot to embellish the bag. I totally forgot to do that with you all. These words are from the stamp set, Christmas Rose, which is part of the suite. And you do get 3 different greetings. And all I did was stamp this on an oval stitch shape. The gold foil is the layering ovals. It's inked in Mossy Meadow. And then I used the gold glitter enamel dots. So that's how you put that together. Okay, I meant to do that. So maybe we'll go back at the end. We'll see how long it takes. So yeah, this paper is gorgeous. I love it. Now this paper kind of has a direction to it. So let me see if I can figure that out. I always think of this with the pine cones as going upward. Am I incorrect? I know it's not sideways, and I'm thinking this is going down. So for me, the pine cones are heading up as well as the vines and the berries, okay? So since this is the top, I'm gonna assume that it's the top. We wanna score the top at 2 inches. Now you do have to remember this when you're working with paper that has direction or a pattern. So while I have this here and I know this is my top, I'm gonna go ahead and score this piece at 2 inches, and we'll get the top out of the way. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and do this piece so that our paper is heading in the right direction on both pieces. All right, so again, 2 inches. I already know this is going to be the top, okay? Now, of course, when you flip it over, I've got it going, it's kind of going down. Let me see, which is how I did the one earlier. So it's really up to you. If we want to go this way, we can. Let's do it. So as you can see, and we'll rescore this. This is not going to be an issue. You'll see, I'm going to go ahead. This is going to be the top, and I am going to score at 2 inches, okay? So hang tight. And I'll show you what I'm doing. It might be easier to see, okay? So if this is the top of the bag, this folds over, and then my pine cones and needles, pine needles are all headed upwards. So does that make sense? Now we'll do the other one like that, okay? We are going to, let's see, I just want to make sure, yep. So with directional paper, you do have to think about it. Now, if you're using a paper that doesn't have direction, go for it. Much easier because you don't have to think about the paper design, okay? All right, so I do have my tops where I want them going, all right? And so the tops are done, and they were scored at 2 inches. And so now we're gonna score 3 sides, and we're going to score it at 3 inches, okay? and I see a reflection. I have a like an light over this table, and so the reflection of the light is right there, so I'm sorry about that. But this is 3 inches, and that's what you need to remember, okay? So here we go, 3 inches. Hang on a second, is that my top? That's my top. I don't want to do that one. Let's see. Hang on one second, I'm getting confused. Yeah, okay. All right, so here's our first side, and we're gonna score at 3 inches. Okay, so the sides are gonna be pretty wide. This is gonna score at 3 inches. And over here, this is going to score at 3 inches. And now let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and fold right along here just so you can get an idea of what the bag is gonna look like. There we go. And then this will be the bottom, okay? Just like that. Now let's go ahead and let's score the next bag, and then we'll do our cutting and putting together. All right. So now we're ready to score the sides on this side of the bag, and again, 3 inches. So I love how it's so easy to remember the measurements. It is just super easy. All right, and 3 inches again. All right, and so we'll go ahead and fold. All right, and I can actually move the scoring tool out and away now. And then I'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Here's my sides. Let's see. I'll just go ahead and fold it this way. And I know it's hard for you all to see those score lines on video. Okay. And this is the top right along here. Okay, so I'm going to grab my paper snips, if I can find them. Oh, here they are, right here, okay? You all are being very quiet tonight, so let me know if you have any questions. And we are going to cut up to that 3-inch score line. Okay. Just like that, and I've gotten rid of that square. Now I need to go over here and get rid of this square. Now please keep in mind, if you love this designer paper, November 30th is the very last day to order it. Or if it sells out before that, it's while supplies last, okay? All right, so here is one side of the bag, okay? So this is what it looks like. Okay, now we're gonna do the other side. And this time we won't cut out the squares. We will just cut up to that score line. And like I said, the score lines are hard to see, and so I wanna be sure that I get them. Okay, so I'm cutting up to that 3-inch score line, okay? But I'm leaving the square, okay? Ooh, Chris, I didn't think about that. So the cut out corner is the perfect, it would make a darling tag. Oh my gosh. So you can use every little square inch of this paper and not feel like that you're throwing away this gorgeous paper. It really is pretty. All right, so now that side is done, okay? And ladies, this bag is going to go together the very same way that the other one did. And so I'm gonna put some Tombow glue on this flap. Again, you can use tear and tape. That's not a problem. All right. So yeah, definitely leave me a comment. Any suggestions would be great. And share the video so that I can put your name in the drawing. And I'm out of the 12 by 12 paper. I mean, this is like it for me. I've used all of this Christmas rose paper. So I'll be sending you the smaller bag for you to put together, okay? So now these bottom flaps are getting glued together just like that, all right? And I'm gonna try and remember to embellish the bag when we're done, okay? I didn't do that the last time. All right. All righty, did I cut out a flap? Hang on, am I missing a flap? Did I cut out one of the flaps? I did. So I cut this flap and I didn't mean to do it, but you know what? It'll still work, so hang tight. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put some Tombow on this. Oh my gosh. I was talking and not even thinking. All righty. Okay, so this bag's gonna have one flap, but it's still gonna work, okay? So let me bring this up like this so that it can adhere, okay? Now, it would be lovely if I had the other flap, but I do not. But you're going to notice when I put this bag together, it will still work, okay? All right, so we're giving that just a few seconds to dry. And now with these flaps, we are going to put some Tombow on these. I can't believe I cut out that square. All right, so I'm gonna bring it up here so you can see what I'm doing. And hang on, what I am going to do, I wanna wipe this Tombow glue top. Okay, good, got it. All right, here we go. All right, and I am just putting some Tombow glue right along here. And by the way, I just thought of this. This Tombow glue also has a foot, and you can always apply the glue using the foot of this tube. And I sometimes forget all about that. So I just want you to know about that. All right. Okay, and now I'm going to put some Tombow on this side. Yeah, Chris, there have been many times I've made bags or box and I have cut the wrong flap. So, all right, here we go. We're going to close up our bag, and ladies, I'm still going to use this for Christmas. I'll be able to even without the flap. I'm adhering this now. All right, so that's what I'm working on this side. I am going to open it like that, and I'm gonna take the bone folder, and I'm just gonna rub that bone folder inside because that will help that glue stick. And then I'm going to close up this side the very same way. I'm going to flip it over, take the bone folder, all right, and just kind of burnish those edges in there and get that glue to stick, okay? All right. And then here again, you have this flap that wants to open up. It's really not a big deal, but you could use Tombow, and I think I'll use that right now. You can use a glue dot. You can use tear and tape. It's whatever you decide that you want to use, okay? And then I'll go over to this side and do the same thing. And I just thought of another idea in making this second large bag. You could take a ribbon and wrap all the way around the top. Wouldn't that be beautiful? But you would want a wide ribbon to do that, like an inch wide maybe, or 3/4 of an inch. All right, so there's our bag, and you can't even tell that I cut the flap out. Thank goodness Oh, you know, it's funny. Carol said she didn't know about the Tombow glue. It's funny because that happened in one of my classes recently, Carol. I've had several ladies say, I didn't even know that came off the other end. So yeah, you can use that, that foot for, you know, wider things that you're gluing. Let's embellish it and then we'll add the handles, okay? So I did remember this time. We are going to use this shape right here. It's one of the dies in the Christmas rose dies. It's actually called the Roses dies. And this cuts out the large flower. Here are some lattice pieces. Thank you, Brenda. These are flourishes. And then these two cut out the words and the greetings, okay? So we're gonna stamp Merry Christmas on here. I'm excited about this bag. I'm gonna be using it. All right, and I'm just inking up in Cherry Cobbler, and it looks like I inked a lot of my block as well. And I'm gonna bring this down where I can see it, and I'm going to stamp. All right, and now I have my greeting there. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of snail on the back. And I'm going to take this piece of gold foil and I'll measure it for you. It's 4 inches by 1/2 inch, okay? And I'm just gonna add this to the very back, like that, okay? And actually, well no, I think I'll do it again, and this time I'm going to add it. Let's redo this. Whoops, let's pick this up. Okay, and now I'm gonna center it this way, and I can get it centered a little bit better. Okay, good. All right, now the next part that I'm going to do is, I have this piece of scrap paper, and it was left over from one of these designer paper sheets. And so, and actually, let me look at these flaps that I cut out. Maybe I want to use some of that. Nope, I think that's the same one. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to take this little piece, and I'm going to fussy cut. And this is something that I really don't mind doing. I know that some people really don't like to fussy cut, so this may not be your cup of tea, but I'm going to add it as a background behind the words Merry Christmas. And so what I'm showing you is you can use every inch of that designer paper. So don't throw any of it away. Use all those little pieces that are part of that design. And I'll cut that off, and then I'll go around again. So it's a little bit tricky going around the berries. Wait till we get to the pine needles. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of the camera. Oh my goodness, Karen, you're from the Netherlands. That's awesome. Welcome. That is so cool. Isn't it amazing how stamping can unite us all over the world? It is just amazing. It really is. And here I'm just literally just going around these little pine needles. And let's see, let me go down here a little bit. And now I'm going to go around the leaf. All right. And then I'm just about done. By the way, ladies, next week, of course, we all realize it will be December already. And so I will be back with you on Wednesday nights in December, which is my usual day, okay? All right, and I'll give you those dates in just a minute. But here's the little piece that I've cut out, all right? And then I'm gonna add a little snail to the back of this. And then I'm going to position this right behind the Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put them all over here because I love them. And they're like a penny a piece. So I just use them as much as I can. All right. And then we're going to pull this right off. I'm pulling the paper off the dimensionals now. And Karen, if you're just joining us, this is our second bag. So I'll show you the first one in just a second, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to embellish the top of this bag, all right? And I'm going to put it just like that. And let's add some of our glitter enamel dots. Now, ladies, these are also... they're leaving us November 30th. So if you love them, you need to get them. All right, so let's add a couple of little dots here. I'll put one right there. And then I'm gonna go and add a couple smaller ones. And that one's even smaller. I love the different sizes. And I'm just trying to get that one little enamel dot off. There we go. All right. But I love the graduated sizes. 1, 2, 3. There are 4 different sizes of the gold glitter enamel dots. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can show you both bags again and show you the measurements once more. Now this one, I guess we need to put a handle on it. So let me get the hole punch. All right, and we'll add ribbon. Like I said, you could always add ribbon around the shape of the bag and tie it in a bow if you wanted. You could add some paper handles from cardstock. So I am going to use my hole punch, and I'm going in towards the middle there. And then I'm going to go over here to this side. I'm going to do the very same thing. Put it in about the middle. And I found another ribbon that's in our annual book that also looks very nice with this, and it's a little bit wider. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, ladies, so much. All right, so now I'm going to insert this. Thank you, Sonia. I'm so glad y'all like the bag. All right, so what I'm doing now is I am just tying a knot on the inside of that bag so that the ribbon holds, okay? So isn't this a pretty ribbon too? So either one look beautiful with it. And I'm gonna move this around, and I'm gonna cut my ribbon, get that out of the way, and then I'm going to move this right on in, insert this right on into this hole. All right, and even though it's a really tiny hole, it's actually easy to poke the ribbon through. All right, so I'm just adding a knot over here, and I am going to be giving away that small tote tonight. All right, so there's my tote. And wouldn't that be pretty with some tissue paper? You could even stamp the tissue paper with this stamp set. All right, the Christmas Rose stamp set. Here is the second box that we created tonight, right here. And this is one of the samples. And it's all using the Christmastime is Here designer paper, available until Saturday, November 30th, or while supplies last. So here are the bags. I will have these pictured on my blog Wednesday, along with a supply list with measurements. This Wednesday, it's www.becreativestamping.com. If any of you need to place an order this evening for the Christmastime is Here paper or the Christmastime is Here sweep, this is where you can shop with me. It's shopwithbecreativestamping.com, and this is the hostess code that you would use. So let me just bring back the measurements just for a brief few minutes in case we have anyone just joining us. And then I'm going to give you the dates for Facebook Live next week. These are going to be our December dates, okay? So I'm back on Wednesday nights, and I hope that works for everyone, or you can catch me on the replay. But these are the Wednesday nights that I will be with you, and we'll take December 25th off. How about that? All right, so does anyone have any questions regarding tonight's project? Just let me know if you do. And I'll let you schedule these on your phone as a reminder.